Imagine you're in the middle of a fast, real-world English conversation. A native speaker asks you a quick, simple question, and your brain immediately jumps into action. But instead of just speaking right away, your mind takes a long, exhausting detour first. You hear the English words. Then, you quietly translate them into your native language, just to make sure you fully understand what's being asked. Next, you form your actual response, still thinking in your native language. And finally, you translate that response back into English, mentally double-checking the grammar, before you finally open your mouth to speak. By the time the words actually come out, several seconds of awkward silence have already passed. The natural flow of the conversation feels broken, and you're left feeling frustratingly slow, even though you clearly know the material. You ask yourself, I know this vocabulary, so why is my brain lagging so badly? Why can't I just think directly in English, the way I seem to be able to think in my own language, without any effort at all? The root cause of this lag usually comes down to a structural flaw in how the vocabulary was originally learned. Most learners rely almost entirely on translation-based learning. Every time you link a new English word directly to a word in your native language, you're quietly building a permanent middleman into your thinking process. Your brain has to stop by your native language first, before it can even access the English meaning waiting on the other side. That extra stop creates a real cognitive bottleneck. Every single time you try to speak, to genuinely speak English fluently and instantly, you need to cut that middleman out entirely. You need to link English words directly to reality itself, not to another language sitting in between. Today, we're going to look at the thinking behind what's called the direct association method, walk through exactly how to build a text-free image word deck of your own, and finish with a fast-paced drill designed to train your brain to think entirely in English, without that translation detour slowing you down. Let's start by understanding how to rewrite your brain's internal vocabulary map. To understand why pictures work so much better than text-based translations, it helps to look at how your brain naturally stores concepts in the first place. When you look at a crisp, green apple sitting on a table, your brain doesn't actually see the letters A, P, P, L, E, and it doesn't see the translated word in your native language either. Instead, it instantly experiences something much more direct, a sensory concept, a crisp texture, a sweet tart taste, a vibrant green color, all at once. This sensory experience is really the core reality behind the word. When you learn vocabulary through standard translation, you're forcing your brain to travel a clunky, three-step pathway every single time. First, the target English word itself. Second, the translation sitting in your native language. And only third, finally, the actual core reality, the real mental image of the object or idea. That middle step, the translation, is essentially wasted processing energy. It's a genuine mental detour your brain doesn't actually need to take. The direct association method simply deletes that middle step entirely. By pairing a new English word directly with a vivid, specific image, you fuse the sound and spelling of that English word straight onto the core reality itself, with nothing standing in between them. The next time you see or think about that particular object, your brain bypasses your native language completely and pulls up the English sound instantly, automatically. You're no longer translating a language in your head, you're simply living inside it. So now that you understand the thinking behind this, how do you actually put it into practice? You need to change how you store and review your vocabulary altogether. Specifically, you need to build what we can call an image word deck, using either a digital flashcard tool or simple physical index cards, whichever fits your habits better. The core rule behind an image word deck is absolute and genuinely non-negotiable. 0 words from your native language are allowed anywhere on these cards. None at all. Here's exactly how to build one of these high-impact visual flashcards, step by step. First, the front of the card holds the target sound. Write only the target English word on the front. Let's use an advanced descriptive adjective as an example, dilapidated, which describes a building that's old, broken down, and falling apart. Underneath the word, you can optionally add a tiny clue about its part of speech, something like adjective. Second, the back of the card holds the core reality. When you flip the card over, resist the urge to write a dictionary definition or a translation. Instead, paste a highly specific, vivid photograph. For the word dilapidated, you might find a photo of an abandoned house, with a broken roof, shattered windows, and crumbling bricks. Your eyes take in the visual sense of destruction almost instantly, far faster than any written definition could deliver it. Now, a question that comes up quite often. Vivid pictures obviously work well for physical objects, things like cars or houses. But how do you handle abstract verbs or emotions? Using this same visual approach. The secret here is using metaphorical or action-based photography instead. If you want to learn the abstract verb to postpone, meaning to delay something to a later time, you might use an image of a hand physically pushing a clock's hands backward, or a large red stamp reading "canceled until next month" placed right over a calendar grid. By forcing yourself to find some kind of visual representation, even for a fairly abstract concept, you deepen your understanding of the word considerably and create a rich, memorable hook that plain text simply can't compete with. Once you've built a small deck, maybe 20 or 30 visual flashcards to start, you'll want to train your brain's actual reaction speed, not just its passive recognition. Knowing a word calmly, with time to think, isn't quite enough. You need to be able to recall it almost instantly, under real conversational pressure. This is where the rapid-fire visual drill comes in. Set a timer on your phone for exactly 60 seconds. Flip through your deck, digital or physical, as fast as you possibly can, looking only at the picture side of each card first. Your goal is to call out the correct English word tied to that image before the clock moves forward. At the first level, we can call it the instant name. Look at the picture of the broken-down house and instantly say, dilapidated. Look at the image of the clock being pushed backward and instantly say, postpone. If your brain hesitates for even a single second, or tries to quietly whisper a translation in your native language first, skip that card immediately and move straight on to the next one. This level is all about training raw, instinctive speed. Once you can move through level 1 smoothly, without hesitation, add a small layer of extra difficulty for level 2, which we can call context expansion. This time, when you see the image, you're not allowed to just say the isolated word on its own. You have to instantly generate a short 3-word English phrase that describes what you're seeing. For the ruined house, you'd look at the photo and say, a dilapidated building. For the clock, you'd look at the photo and say, postpone the meeting. This kind of rapid-fire pressure closely mimics the fast, unpredictable environment of a real, live conversation. By forcing your brain to connect images directly to full phrases in under a second, you break that clunky translation loop for good and cement a direct, genuinely fast pathway toward natural English thought. Your native language is a beautiful, powerful tool, no question about that. But when it comes to developing real, live fluency in English, it can quietly act like an anchor, holding you back without you fully realizing it. Stop treating English like some secret code that constantly needs decoding and translating in real time. English can simply become a direct window onto the world around you, the same way your native language already is. By practicing this direct association method, replacing text-based definitions with vivid images, and running these rapid-fire drills consistently, you'll naturally eliminate a huge amount of that mental lag and start speaking with genuine spontaneity. So here's your action step for today. Pick 3 English words that you stumbled over or struggled to remember sometime this past week. Search for images of each one right now and find the single most accurate, vivid, or even funny picture that captures what that word actually represents. Save those images to your phone or paste them straight into your notebook with absolutely no text translations attached anywhere near them. Start training your brain to see the world directly in English, one image at a time. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.